What'd you do?
I didn't do anything. Let's try.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Spirits and Spirits Season 3 episode.
Can you hear it?
22. Can you hear it, Dave? Can you hear
I
it?
can hear it.
We're doing Cryptids Part 9. The Goat Man, aka Pope Lake Monster, and all the above aforementioned Goat Man type people. I'm your host for Ghosts, Mr. John Watkins, all the way in beautiful Colorado. Of course, from beautiful sunny California, the host with the most, Mr. David Lowe. Man, I'm excited, Dave. I'm excited.
Oh man, back, brother, and I'm so jazzed for this. This is after a great tournament. The Haunted Locations tournament was badass. Loved it. Couple of really great surprises in there.
Holy water.
Maybe a little holy water. I've got my holy water right here. What are you drinking?
Water. I'm drinking a Breckenridge Marzen lager. It is the Oktoberfest. I got the whole thing sitting right here. If you see me
give it to me,
my glass, give it to me. Give it to me. It is 6% alcohol by content. It is 1 1/3 gallon of beer. I don't think I'll finish tonight with the revamping of the show.
No, maybe if it was a 3-hour, maybe, but not with the revamp. I don't think so.
It's described as a toasty malt character with a clean, dry finish. But all I gotta say is it's yummy. I highly recommend. What about you, Dave? What you got over there?
I have basically the only American beer that I have. I've got a Michelob Amberbock that I'm drinking, and it's nice. It's a dark lager. It's got a nice, refreshing taste. It's a hearty beer, but it's not too hoppy, so I enjoy it.
Yeah, that sounds yummy too.
Yeah, it's good, bro. But yeah, so some interesting things happened in the tournament.
Oh, absolutely.
And just to touch on that for a second, if you guys did not get a chance to see the tournament, please do so. Or whatever his ghost tube just said.
Who would you like to watch? We'd like all you to watch. That's what we like.
We would like all of you to watch. Anybody who catches us live, anybody who watches us on the replay, anybody who checks us out on Spotify.
Yeah.
Which they sponsor us.
Asylum.
And we belong in an asylum. We're committed, or at least we should be.
Not the first person that's told me that.
And probably won't be the last.
Yeah, definitely won't be the last.
But I'd say after the tournament was over and it was a blast. Not a surprise as to the winner, but definitely some surprises along the way, and the finals were a surprise. I'm looking forward to the Cryptids tournament coming up at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's gonna be phenomenal. I think tonight's show here and of course on Scare Network TV, these are two. They have some potential of possibly breaking into the tournament. We're gonna find out when we hit the scoring, but I was interested doing the research on these and thinking about the other cryptids that we've talked about and how they rank up with those other cryptids. And I don't think either one of these that we'll be talking about tonight, the one here for the live, and then of course the other one for Scare Network, will be in the top 10. But I think they could possibly make that top 32 and possibly make that tournament.
Agreed.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we should be worried, bro, because I may throw a curveball here.
Okay.
I've got issues with both of these cryptids, and we'll talk about, because we're focusing on the Goat Man, with emphasis on the Poplick monster, which is in near Louisville, Kentucky.
Yep.
But we are going to score the Goat Man in general with,
Yes.
you know, what we do is we go and find the history, and we've changed our format a little bit. So we put the history in a nice little tight
little
video clip that ought to be pretty neat. So we'll play that for you later. And then we're going to go through sightings and evidence and pictures and audio and video and whatever we can find that we can play and show on here.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're going to score it, see how it stacks up.
Command it.
And they command it. So I probably get rolling. Do we want to start with the video?
Yeah, I think that's
elderly.
Or the elderly. Elderly always goes
or the
first.
Elderly. I qualify as the elderly, so we'll go with that. Okay,
I think that's a great starting point, you know.
Yeah, so let's get a look at the lore on the Goat Man, and in particular the Poplick monster. Check this out. The Goat Man is a part man, part goat creature with the grotesquely deformed body of a man. It has powerful, fur-covered goat legs, a light-skinned face with a hooked nose, and wide-set eyes. Short, sharp horns protrude from the forehead, nestled in long, greasy hair that matches the color of the fur on the legs. There is more than one Goat Man. In fact, there are several, and they often follow the same pattern of erratic behavior, predatory diet, and half-man, half-goat hybrid features. Goat Men have been reported in various parts of the country, especially in Maryland, Louisiana, and Texas. The Goat Man we're after, though, is reported to live beneath a railroad trestle bridge over Poplick Creek in Louisville, Kentucky. This is why it is also called the Poplick Monster. Numerous legends exist about this creature's origins. Some legends say that this human-goat hybrid was a circus freak who vowed revenge after being mistreated. In another version of the same story, it is said the cryptid escaped after the train derailed from the trestle, which actually links the Poplick monster to the legend of the ghost train, which has also been sighted on the trestle. Another version commonly told by locals of the area claims that the monster is really the twisted reincarnation of a farmer who sacrificed goats in exchange for satanic powers. The experiment legend is the most pervasive of them all, and it involves the nearby geneticist who supposedly confessed to crossing the DNA of a goat to that of his assistant, which naturally went horribly wrong. With sightings dating back to 1950, the methods it employs to claim its victims also seems diverse. Some accounts say the creature uses either hypnosis or voice mimicry to lure trespassers onto the trestle and meet their death at the hands of an oncoming train. Other stories claim the monster jumps down from the trestle onto the roofs of cars passing. More legends tell that it attacks its victims with a blood-stained axe and that the very sight of the creature is so unsettling that those who see it while walking across the high trestle are driven to leap to their death. There have been a number of deaths and accidents at the trestle since its construction, despite the presence of an 8-foot fence to keep thrill seekers out. Well, we are going to climb that fence, from the safety of our homes, of course, and answer that burning question. Is the Poplick monster real or myth?
Interesting. I like it. I like it.
That was pretty fun. I like that.
That I don't know which story. I mean,
Chased.
here's what it said.
Yeah, it's not what it sounded like. It sounded like chased.
It said chased.
Chased.
Disfigured.
Yes.
That goes with the voice.
Disfigured.
All right. So the goat man, so the Poplick monster in Kentucky. And this is interesting because we've talked about the Goatman Bridge. Now, this is not the same bridge.
No, the Goatman Bridge is actually in
Goatman.
Texas.
Yes. But there does seem to be a connection between the Goatman cryptid and bridges of some sort.
Yeah, even though I believe the one in Maryland has a bridge to go along with the Goatman.
Now, there have been sightings other places.
Yes.
In the state, but when, centered, the location where they seem to be centered on usually has to do with some sort of bridge.
That's interesting. That's interesting. What?
Love.
Okay. Yeah. They're loving the discussion. And Catherine's here. Maybe it was.
They love Catherine.
Love Catherine. Which one out of these stories do you feel like is more believable? The mad scientist who went Frankenstein with a goat and his assistant, the circus freak.
I don't believe that one. That one's not. I read that and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll put it in, but I don't know.
And the circus freak,
but that's
even the man who was sacrificing ghosts to get power from Satan, and when he died, became the Goat Man.
Yeah, and that one's interesting. But so the one with the geneticist and his assistant, that one's centered around the Goatman that's been spotted in Maryland.
Yeah.
And then I think the one that sacrificed goats to get satanic powers is centered around the one in Texas.
Yeah, and they also have the one where the Goat Man was actually originally a black man who actually sold goats at the end of the bridge, and then the KKK came and hung him off the bridge.
Yeah,
which created the Goat Man.
Yeah,
and then proceeded to go kill his family after they hung him. But I don't know. There's. I do like the vengeance aspect one. I think that might be my favorite story of the creation of the Goat Man. Are they all the same Goat Man? I don't believe they are. I think there are multiple different Goat Mans throughout the United States.
Yes.
Rather than just one that's showing up in multiple different locations. So I don't know. There's some good stories here. I think it's the one. It's the one in Texas or in Maryland. No, it's the one in Maryland that killed 14 hikers and chopping them up into pieces. near its lair because they got too close or whatnot. I don't know. There's a lot going on with the goat man, bro. A lot going on here.
A lot going on.
But found an awesome
What do you want?
Doctor in Maryland, anthropologist, right? The people that study like history and biology.
Yeah, the anthropologist studies culture and stuff like that.
Yeah. He said the goat man goes all the way back to 520 BC because all people are describing are satyrs that have gone off the hinges. And I found that interesting. I was like, wow, that's when I first thought about the goat man, you hear about the goat man and all the stories about the goat man, whether you're talking about the Pope Lick monster or Texas or Maryland, it doesn't matter where you hear about the goat man. Never once did I think satyr.
No,
I think
that's funny because that was kind of my first thought because I was like, oh, but usually that's body of a goat, head of human.
Yes.
Not the other way around. I was like, oh, satyr, but no, this is not something that runs around with a pan flute. And
no,
this is not something like Midsummer Night's Dream. This is not Puck that goes running around doing stuff. This is an aggressive creature.
Drawing people onto the bridge so they can get hit
by
a train.
Come inside. Yeah. So the many witnesses claim this is from the Pope Lick monster in Kentucky. Many witnesses claim to have seen this goat man use hypnosis and voice mimicry to lure its victims onto the trestle.
Yeah.
When he has them within reach, he grabs them and throws him under the train. Or he lets them just kind of get onto the trestle. And the thing about the trestle, I'm going to bring the picture back up again. So the thing about this trestle in Kentucky is there's barely any room outside of the tracks. So if you get caught on this trestle and a train comes, you're not going to get across fast enough.
No, it's 700 foot of track, bro.
Yeah. And there's a sound thing in there to where you can't hear the train until it's right there.
Yeah.
So there are stories from the 80s and from early 2000s about kids who have gone on the trestle and have died.
Yeah, recent is what 2014. Two people got hit by the train on there, thinking they could outrun it.
Yeah,
one died, the other lived.
Well, yeah, one survived, but the clock struck one, and the other escaped with minor injuries. It was.
Come here.
I'm right here. You don't have to worry. But there's some interesting things.
Yeah, it's a up, and there is a road that goes under the trestle.
Yes.
In fact, they call it what Crybaby Bridge or something like that. That goes underneath the trestle right there. Yeah, I think it's Crybaby where they can. But it's been known to jump onto cars as they're driving underneath the trestle and attacking them.
Yes.
Ripping their tires to shreds from the roof. I mean, that kind of gives you a basis of how big this thing might be. I depict him more about 7 foot tall or so, but I mean, the dude is powerful. And they have footprints that they've actually casted.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it likes young couples.
Bring it to me.
Yes.
Louder.
It likes young couples for some reason.
Leslie was talking to my ghost tube.
Louder.
Was talking to my ghost tube.
Yours said it all weird. The line's all loud, or yours is all. Louder.
Louder.
I
Do it
think
again.
do it again. Uh, so it's also been said that it will now this is the goat man in general has been known to break into people's houses
Snake.
and rape them, man or woman alike. It don't
That's
matter.
bad.
That's bad.
Okay.
Quickly.
You.
No, they're not raping me. That's not happening.
But yeah, the slaughter of the 14 hikers, it happened back in 1962 with a bunch of 14 hikers. Chop them into pieces, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine walking up on that.
Because yeah, some of the reports, some of the sightings of the goat man has it wielding an axe.
Yeah. Which is why the mad scientist thing kind of throws me off because I've never seen scientists use an axe for anything.
No. But that's why, some of these depictions of the goat man have him holding an axe.
Yeah, I am touching the phone. Sorry.
I can't
Yeah,
talk.
that one's crazy.
That's interesting because your first thought is bear, but then you're like, wait, there's
that's got a
horns.
head of a bighorn sheep there.
Yeah. So, and then there's one that we've had on here a couple times. Came in with a different cryptid, but we've talked about this before, and we're like, this is the goat man.
That's the goat man.
It's got to be. Yeah, it could be a skin because they say, it could be a skinwalker or some other type of shape-shifting cryptid.
Yeah.
But, I think there was one other one where it could possibly look like a goat, but Skinwalker was one that we looked at, and there was another one that we looked at where this picture came up. So,
yeah, that one right there is probably my favorite when I think of the goat man.
Mm-hmm.
And they've gotten, I don't know if you pulled them all in here. I know you pulled a lot of the
sad
artist renditions of the goat man.
Yeah. There's a lot of, and then there was this thing, and this is gonna come in as a video.
Okay.
I'm gonna show this for just a second. Check this out.
Oh.
So this was sighted just outside the Amarillo Zoo in Amarillo, Texas. And this was May 21st of last year.
Wow.
And there was it was on CNN.
Bring
it was on, they showed this all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what the hell is it?
Yeah. But it's funny. There's a whole bunch of pictures of the goat man, but like single shots from a trail cam or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But I could not find any video footage.
I was also looking for audio. And
I found audio.
I couldn't find what I would consider to be good audio for the goat man. There's a lot of, you could tell it's some dude or some chick. I'm like, come on. I can't download that and play that on here.
Yeah. Now my thing was that these actually came onto videos, but you don't see anything, you just hear it. And there was one that sounded like a scream.
Yeah.
And they amplified it, and I was like, okay, that was pretty cool. And there was another one where this guy was talking. He's like, you know what? I have a bad feeling. I think I'm going to need to go. And then you can hear a roar in the background.
Oh.
that was not human.
Oh,
And he was like, oh shit, I gotta go.
I read a couple that with the bridge, the Goatman Bridge, where people were literally grabbed and drug into the forest before getting away and running back across the bridge.
Yeah.
The Pope Lick one, there was a lot of occurrences of people being jumped off cars and being lured onto the trestle.
Yes.
But no necessarily physical attacks that I was reading about for the Pope Lick monster.
Yeah. No, and no like visual sightings, like they get pulled off by something and they don't see it, or it lands on their car, but they don't see it.
Yes.
They made this a point with the Pope Lick monster. Nobody has any visual evidence.
Visual evidence of the
Yeah.
Pope Lick monster.
And I think that's fascinating. Like nobody's seen anything, but they've heard this thing. They've claimed that they've seen it, but there's no actual photographic or video evidence.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I found this like all over the place where I couldn't find any legit video evidence. I mean, I'm like, oh, public monster caught on camera, and I go and look at it, and it's a dude in a goat suit.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, okay. I'm thinking that's probably fake. I mean, we like to take stuff at face value to where we're like, okay, we'll consider this a possibility, but there was no way I could consider that a possibility.
Yeah.
Like there was one that was like, oh, Goatman caught and blah, blah, blah. And it was on a news channel, and it was legitimately a person in a goat suit walking around. And I was just like, all right. But I think that's interesting.
No,
because they're the only
visual evidence is what's throwing me off here.
The only visual evidence happens in like one still photograph. Like the video I showed you was just a still photograph from a trail camera at the zoo.
Yeah.
You were funny.
Thanks. And then, like this stuff.
Is this yours?
No. That was a little creepy.
Maybe.
But I'm like, I don't know what you're holding. I'm just gonna say that's not mine. You can have it.
I'll share.
Maybe we can split it. But anyway, where was I going? So yeah, there's like I said, there's like still or single images,
Yeah,
that have been caught of the Goatman, but never no video footage. Now, I looked up some recent sightings.
Okay.
And I've got some stuff. Well, first there was with the Maryland Goatman, they had an issue throughout the 1970s where Maryland residents were finding their dogs dead.
Yeah.
All around the neighborhoods.
Stalking the dogs and tearing them apart.
Yeah. And, they were like that the Goatman was doing that. There was 2 left. Okay. So check this one out. So a 19-year-old man, this is in South Carolina.
Lower.
A 19-year-old man.
A man, Dave. A man.
A 19-year-old man, a very young man, was out on an evening hike in 2019 when he saw on the beach what he described as a half man, half goat figure dragging a human body behind it.
Oh, Jesus.
He called 911. Late. He called 911, but the police found nothing, not even footprints on the beach.
No drag marks or anything.
No drag marks, no nothing. I mean, tide could have come up or whatever because it was dragging it along the beach. Okay, here's another one in Pennsylvania, and this is either in 2018 or 2019. A man in his 30s was hiking in eastern Pennsylvania when he encountered a strange smell and feeling. He was about 3.5 miles away from his car when all of a sudden he felt like he had to get out of there. Believe. He turned back and was climbing down a ridge when out of the corner of his eye, he saw a creature that was easily 9 to 10 feet tall.
That's huge, bro.
And had the gruesome look of a minotaur.
He told me.
No. It did not have any clothes on and seemed to be making its way across a large ridge and wasn't paying any attention to him at all. He said later that laying eyes physically on this sort of being is the closest he ever would get to seeing a demon in real life. What? We get asshole finally?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Ghost 2.
Sorry. Laying eyes on a what?
That was great. Fucking Ghost, you ruined that sentence.
He said, asshole.
Asshole. And mine just said Satan. Which he said physically laying eyes on this sort of being was the closest he ever would get to seeing a demon in real life.
Ooh.
Okay. Here's a story out of Maine. I did not get a year on this. An officer on the job for about 4 years was driving in a very rural area when he saw this thing standing up in a field next to the road. He got a full look at it in the tall grass and said at first he thought it was a person in a Halloween costume holding a prop. But the more he looked at it and studied it, it seemed too realistic. It also looked like it was holding an old style axe.
Ooh.
He was so shocked by the sighting, he slowed down his police car to take a closer look, and it didn't seem to even notice him or the car. He said in an interview later that before that sighting, he had never even heard of the Goatman legend.
Wow. Wow. You know what I found out just now while you were reading that? Don't hit these little side buttons on your mouse. It kicks you out of the room.
Where?
On the side of the mouse, apparently.
Yeah, on the side of the mouse. Stay off of those.
Stay off of those.
Oh, no, what happened?
That one of those is the escape key. That's funny.
I found it.
There it is.
Not on purpose.
Okay, so I've got two more. In Georgia, an older man who lived by himself against the Appalachian Mountains was a skeptic about a lot of things, but had seen the Goatman several times. He described it as a creature looking to be about half man, half goat, at least 7 foot tall. And from what he said, these things were very violent and attempted to take his life on several occasions.
Damn.
He kept an old rifle, which saved his life more than once. And he also stated that the creature has a fear of fire. So he would light torches around his house. And that seemed to keep it at bay because it would break into his house.
Oh, shit. Hopefully he
and
wasn't
try to kill him. They appear to only be nocturnal, as he's only ever seen the thing break into his house during dusk or nighttime.
Okay.
He's never seen them during the day, only when the light is low enough. But he describes them with the words demonic, horrific, and vicious. And he was
to your left.
He was talked to a couple months ago, and the guy was like, "Oh no, I haven't seen him in a couple of years." So yay. He goes, but he thinks they're on a cycle.
Screen.
Yeah, that's my screen
right there. He thinks that, well, at least his Goatman in the area is on a cycle that comes around every couple of years.
Really? Well, that could constitute a very big migratory path these things are taking throughout the Appalachians.
Yeah. And since these sightings happen in like Texas, Maryland, and like that, maybe they kind of follow that path and rotate around. So I
Interesting.
wonder if this is like a migratory creature that just moves around to
That
all
kind
these
of
other.
takes away the fact that it could be more than one. It could all be the same one, just on a migratory pattern.
Yeah, I still think it's more than one.
I think it's more than one too, but
Yeah.
that's a good theory though.
Yeah, it's the only account that I have where he seems this guy thinks it's on a cycle, but this guy's been attacked a lot. This guy's been like, this thing just keeps coming after him. He says, he said, I'm easy prey because I'm old and alone.
Oh, well, yeah. I
He
mean,
goes, but I got my gun, and that tends to change things.
I got my big boomstick.
Yeah, got my
You don't
boomstick.
like it.
Speaking of boomsticks, you're gonna like this one. So a lady, had basically her husband, 3 kids, and a dog living close to Texarkana. This is near the Texas-Arkansas border.
Yep.
She said that she saw a goat man in the process of strangling her Rottweiler
Oh shit.
until her husband came out of the house and shot it right in the head. It
Wow.
scared it off, but it didn't seem to hurt it.
He's like, bing. Oh, motherfucker.
Oh, what the fuck? So this happened in the summer of 2012. They've not seen it return, but after speaking with the husband later, he said that he still hears its screams in the backwoods to this day. So it's still back there.
Leave.
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 It's time to
It
move.
might be time to move. It might be time to move.
I wonder, something like that just kind of makes me think that like it's letting you know that it's still there. It's like, you might have got me.
Yeah, but I'm
Just
here.
so no, I'm still here.
But he's like, I'll respect your territory. I'm not going to come and kill your dog this time, but I just want to let you know I'm in the area.
Yeah. You don't come in my territory, I won't come in yours.
Yeah. Your side, my side. Your side, my side.
I mean, mutual understanding. You keep that boom stick over there, and I'll stay over here.
I'll stay over here.
That shit hurt.
Oh, motherfucker.
He blew off my horn.
Son of a. God damn it. That was my favorite horn.
Oh, that's something. Like, you go through the woods and you'll find deer shed, right?
Mhm.
You don't hear about that with the goat man.
Lower your voice.
Yeah, you don't hear about
Stressed.
Stressed. Yeah.
stressed. It lowered his voice.
But if I'm not mistaken, goats don't shed their
Always.
Not always.
Not always. I've never heard about them shedding their horns. I don't know. That I never thought about that till like just now. But then again, I'd have to ask probably Kevin about that. They got plenty of goats.
They got plenty of goats. They got tons of goats.
Anybody know about goats? Do they shed their horns? Do they shed their antlers? Like cows don't shed
No.
their horns. They break them. But that's another thing. You don't see any like broken horn anywhere. I've never heard of anybody finding something like that, out in the woods or anything, or underneath the bridge. You think something would have broke? I mean, you got this thing jumping 100 foot down onto a car. That something would break. I mean, he's throwing tires at people and rocks and bricks and whatever he could find on the ground at people, but I've never heard of anything being found of his except some footprints. There have been footprints found and casted. In fact, they're in a museum.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of anybody finding like hair or anything from the goat man or anything like that.
Yeah. And they also report like if they see the goat man, which of course they don't have time. It like just disappears.
Yeah, and that's freaky
And
too.
they say it disappears almost like it goes through a portal. I read like 2 or 3 times where people were like, "Oh, it's like it just appeared out of a portal or like it just vanished into a portal." And I
That's
was like, "Wow. Okay." So and this brings me to um to an issue that I have. And this kind of goes, our main question that we ask when we look at these cryptids is this real or is this myth?
yeah, yeah.
And I think we
Always
need
make
to look at a third possibility here.
extra dimensional. I don't know how he died. What's your third one here?
Demonic.
Well, that's what I was thinking too when you talked about the portals. Almost like it's spawn of
Yeah.
demon, which
Yeah.
takes you back to the farmer that used to sacrifice his goats.
Yeah. The goat is the pet of Satan. So
Yeah,
I'm like, who's to stop Satan from like, hey, I'm going to make a half man, half goat and have him go and fuck with people. Is it possible? Sure. But when we were talking about Goatman Bridge,
yes,
we were all up in the fact that there's like demonic stuff going on.
yeah, big time.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if I think, do you think that this can be a flesh and blood cryptid? Or do you think this is more supernatural to where it's demonic?
Well, that's a question I'd prefer to answer.
We're going to answer this at the end. We're gonna answer this at the end. When we get ready, we're just about ready to score it, I think.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Unknown.
It is unknown. And I think it's just something to think about because I'm reading the stories and I'm looking at the thing and I'm getting evidence, but I'm getting this lack of evidence. And what's up, Rich? Good to see you, my brother.
Bible.
Yeah, get your Bible out. But yeah, it's just like I'm seeing there's pictures of it, but no video.
When you think of the depictions of Satan himself, what if this is not the goat man? What if this is Satan himself?
Oh, my ghost tube set say, yeah, I mean, there's so many.
I'm gonna go back. You think of you think of a lot of movies where Satan is depicted and they have him in a sharp dress suit a lot of times, because he can be whoever he wants.
Yeah.
But
Like
then
Dracula.
then you think of the movie like the movie Legend. He's a fucking goat.
Yeah.
I can't leave.
Nope, you can't leave.
A big ass goat. He's a fucking goat.
He's a fucking goat. But yeah, I mean,
Satan isn't ugly because I think Satan depicts on what you deem as beautiful is how he will appear to you.
yeah. I think it all depends. Yeah, he can change his form to whatever he thinks would work best in that situation.
Yeah.
Does he need to be all
in his all natural form,
Yeah.
being fallen and disfigured from heaven? He has the form of a goat because
that instills the most fear.
Yeah. Which is weird. I've never looked at a goat and like, that fucker scares me. I always looked at a goat and like, I'm gonna put on this motorcycle helmet and we're gonna have a battling ram contest.
But I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay. But I mean, there's a lot of well, if you're going with the Bible, Lucifer is the most beautiful angel.
Yes.
That was depicted in the Bible.
Yeah, and his vein is what causes his downfall.
And my ghost tube just said shirt. Yeah.
But when he has fallen, who says what he looks like now? Fall from the heavens. That's gotta hurt him.
Whatever he wants to look like.
Yeah.
All right.
But
Number 2.
I think there's a lot going on with Goatman in a lot of ways you can travel down a path about the Goatman.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could really get into a big hole here talking about the Goatman, what he is, just by talking about what he possibly could be, which is kind of what we're doing right now. We're going through a big rabbit hole right now on what the Goatman possibly could be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Play.
I don't know. There's a lot going on here throughout many different places. He's seen in multiple different places. There's some pretty good photos out there of him. Nothing video wise, really of depicting what he looks like. Just
To your
some
left.
trail cam type footage. I don't know. I think it's score time.
I think it's score time.
I think it's score time. So
Yeah.
of course,
So
you
if you guys have not been around for a while, and we've been gone for the summer, so let's recap. So the first thing we look at in the lowdown scoring system for cryptids is the size of the creature. And the thing to understand, first of all, is that human size is a 5. So that's what we use as our base. If it's bigger than human, it gets more than a 5 score. If it's smaller than human, it gets lower than a 5 score. Now, the
I'm
majority.
loving this thing right here. Oh, I just poured me a new glass. This is great.
I'm loving this. So, yeah, I have no idea what that said.
I remember you.
Oh, great. That's exactly what I need in that voice. Okay. So I'm looking at the size of this thing, and the maximum size that it seems to be able to go is 10 feet tall.
Okay. So I might underscore that because the biggest I saw while doing my research, because I didn't see that one story depicting him that big, was only 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
So I scored it at a 5 because for me, 7 foot tall is still human size to me. I mean, basically anything from 4 foot to 7 foot.
Yeah, that's like Shaq though.
I mean, it's Shaq, Yao Ming. You know,
I give Shaq a 6.
you know. I mean, is there a lot of people 7 feet tall in this world? No, there's and probably 80% of them do play basketball, but
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, when I pre-scored this thing after reading that story, I went 7 for the size.
And after reading that, I was thinking 6.
Stressed, huh?
I'm stressing it.
So
I that would put us.
I mean, look at it this way. So we gave, the Chindi, the Adlet, the Stikini, the Bunny Yip, Rougarou, all those are 7s.
But there was multiple stories depicting how big those were. This is one story saying this thing's 10 foot tall.
Yeah, well, we still got to go to the maximum size.
You got a point.
You got a point. So if you want to go 6, we'll go 6.5.
You do got a point. Yeah. No, you got a point there. Usually we go with the max size of what it's depicted. So yeah, that would probably constitute a 7. That'd probably constitute a 7. Now, I definitely have to change my speed here.
Fireplace.
Fireplace.
We're just gonna throw my speed in the fireplace.
Okay,
burn it up.
Fireplace. We're gonna put that right in the fireplace.
Right in the fireplace. Just boop.
Okay, so what do we think for speed?
Why are you here?
Score. I'm caught here because I think normally it's moving at a human size speed. I don't think necessarily it's very fast.
Right.
When it's
in the score terms, human size speed is a 4.
Yeah. But
Aroused.
I think I need to give it.
Aroused.
You have a perfect voice for it too.
It did seem aroused.
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 You like pronunciated that D perfect.
It did that row was like row.
So I gotta give it some points because the portal thing that's going on.
Right.
So I'm gonna give it I think I'm gonna give it a 3-point bump on the speed due to the portals, and I'm gonna say a 7 here.
Yeah. I was at a 7.
Rituals.
Rituals.
Now evidence is our next category here, and I was a little disappointed at evidence. There's some good stories and some good sightings, but there's not a lot of what I'd like to say physical evidence here. Now, I did give it because of the stories, I gave it a pretty good bump, and I said evidence as a 6 is where I
Okay.
went.
Okay.
I don't know where you're sitting, but that's kind of where I'm sitting with that.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing that got me was that there's no video evidence. And I didn't even think that there was any like casts or footprints or anything like that, but you corrected me on that one. So originally I actually had it as a 4.
Okay.
But I am definitely going to bump it up. I'm going to bump it up to a 5,
Okay.
and then we'll go 5.5 on that.
5.5.
Okay. The fourth thing in our low down scoring system is the aggression. And I think this thing is very aggressive.
I think this is definitely on the high end of aggression.
Yeah.
I wasn't a 10 here. I wasn't a 10 on the aggression.
No.
But I can it definitely has an aggressive nature.
Mhm.
I went 8 on the
Pathetic.
aggression. I went 8 on the aggression.
Okay. I went 9 on the aggression. Because I didn't know about the breaking into the house and raping one. That was new for me.
To the 8, I'm like, okay, we gotta be at 8.
That gave it a point. But I mean, I was like with the guy who the thing it kept breaking into his, trying to kill him, and with the car and the luring people to their death, and the choking, strangling the Rottweiler, and I'm thinking this thing's very aggressive. So I'm gonna stay at a 9.
Okay. I think I'm still at the 8 even
Okay.
after hearing everything, so we'll go 8.5 here.
5. Okay, so the lore. Now here's the rub for me.
Not sure.
I'm not sure either. And thank you
I
for
like the lore. I like lore. I love the little history segment you created. Dave is awesome. That is why he is the technical director. Love the history segment there. I love the stories and how far back it goes with the stories. But what I scored lore high, and because I brought it all the way back to the Seder.
Yeah.
And even if it's beyond that, and we're talking demonic, it probably goes even further back. But I brought it all the way back to the Seder with the anthropologist, bringing it back to 520 BC, and I went 9 on the lore. I thought it being depicted in stories for such a long time with the Seder and then becoming the Goat Man, I really like that aspect of it. I
Yeah.
really
And that's interesting. I didn't give it a high score for lore. I do not equate this with the Seder at all.
It's bright.
I'm sorry, it's bright, but my light stays on. So my lore was actually at a 5 because I only go back to the 50s
when the original Goat Man
when
stories.
the original Goatman stories first started. And that puts it kind of on par with the Chupacabra. And that puts the lore at a 5. So I had it at a 5.
After the discussion, do you think it's still out of 5?
No, I'm willing to throw a little Seder in there, and I'll meet you halfway, and I'm going to go 7. So that means we'll be at an 8 for the lore.
Okay.
So I'm going to give it a 2-point bump for the Seder junk.
Okay.
And we'll go on to the evidence that has, the
evidence of everything.
Evidence that's been found. So the first thing is the sightings. And I think aside from the fact that there's no video evidence, there are a lot of sightings.
There's a lot of sightings. There's quite a few photos out there, again, like we're talking about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stories of it being seen. There's a lot of people's cars being damaged and things like that, and people getting shit thrown at them. I put sightings at an 8. I put it above the evidence level. I think the evidence does not support the sightings, is what I'm saying.
I agree.
I don't think the evidence would be as high if there weren't as much sight. So you agree with the 8? You were there?
I agree with the 8. I was at an 8 also.
How do you feel about the audio? Because I remember, I know I did say there wasn't a lot of, when I tried finding audio files for it, there was a lot of bullshit ones out there. Just so people are aware when you try to look them up. But the stories and how they depict it sounded, making noises and things like that. I actually put a lot of credit into what people were talking about, what they were hearing. And I actually gave the audio an 8 as well. I thought it was, I thought these people are hearing it. You know, they might not be catching it as much as I want them to, but they're hearing it.
Yeah.
So I put it at an 8.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Where? Opened it.
It's already open.
He already opened it. Mine's been open for a while. I'm on number 3 already.
And this one's staying closed for right now. So
leave it.
I am going to leave it. It's fine. But yeah, I was at an 8 too. And I actually had I have found some good audio evidence.
Yeah.
But most of it was from the stories, because a lot of the stories is they would hear it more than they would see it.
Credit to the mimicking of voices and things like that. Yeah. So I had to give it a good 8 there.
Yeah.
The next category is the physical object. This is what it affects, right? The physicality of everything.
I think I underscored this.
I was pretty high here.
I was pretty high, but I think I underscored it.
I went 9 here. I was at a 9 with the cars being jumped on, tires being thrown at people, the stories I heard of people being grabbed and drugged into the woods and raping people. I was high on the physical object.
Yeah. Yeah, I did not know about the raping. that really sets me on a different path with this thing. It's not Montana, so the goat's doing the raping. And so I was originally at an 8. With this. Okay. But I will bump it to a 9 because I think there's a lot more physical and object manipulation here. Nice. Don't say that when we're talking about goats raping.
What did it say?
It said it's inside. No.
Do you feel it?
Yeah, can you feel it? All right. So the next thing is emotional. So this is emotional feeling. This also covers smells and other stuff too. Stuff that's not physical sense.
Yeah. The emotional I thought was good here, bro.
Yeah, it's good.
I think
people are feeling like they're being watched. That one guy was like the hair on the back of his neck was standing up. He's like, I gotta go. And then he saw it.
I just saw a recent interview where dude talked to the people of Maryland, talked to the original owner of the dogs whose head got cut off, and they didn't find the head till 14 years later. Wholeheartedly, they believe in the goat man. They'll talk to you all about this whole town where the goat man originated in Maryland. Will talk to you about how real the goat man is. You got people jumping 10-foot fences to get on a trestle on a bridge to see if they can find the goat man. You got people in Austin, in in Texas, not Austin. In Texas,
Texas.
uh,
Austin is Texas, bro.
but it's not in Austin, is what I'm saying. Alton or something like that.
Okay. Well, yeah, like that one sighting in Amarillo. So
yeah, there's tons of things going on. There's such a huge belief factor that's happening. There's a huge fear factor. There's
yeah,
huge
and
intrigue factor.
Yeah, and I've got to lay claim to the hypnotizing that has the ability to hypnotize people.
Yeah.
And basically coax them onto the tracks.
Yeah, to lure
The
them.
mimicry is one thing, but they hypnotizes people and sends them onto the trestle. So
The unsettling sight of seeing it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on here. I put the
And
emotion at 8. I don't know where you're at. That's where I landed.
I was at a 9 here, bro. And I added because that the one guy could smell it.
And I you know what? I didn't even think about the emotional damage it does when it rapes somebody.
Well, yeah, think about that. That might
I might have to bump it up to a 9. I might have to jump up a little bit.
Where are
and
we?
give it that 9. I think that's what I'll do. I think I'll give it the 9.
Ashley.
Was that Ashley?
That was Ashley.
All right. Ooh, creepy. Speaking of Ashley, let's talk about the danger level here.
Yeah.
I think this thing is dangerous as shit.
This thing is very dangerous.
Yeah.
I think about our most dangerous things that we've talked about.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
No, I'm not at a 10. No, I'm not at a 10 because we're talking like our 10s are
Wendigo,
Skinwalker, Rake, Lechuza. Those are our 10s.
Yeah.
I went the Strigoi.
I went one step below.
I went one step below too. I gave it a 9.
I gave it a 9.
Yeah. Because I think not only is this thing, this thing is aggressive. It attacks you. It rapes you. It'll kill you. It'll chop you up in little pieces.
Yeah.
It'll also hypnotize you, coax you onto the tracks to get you killed, cause you to commit suicide, and jump from the trellis.
Yeah.
I think it's really close to being a 10.
It is close. It almost took a 10.
I mean, if it was really like, if I had video of it attacking something, it would have been a 10.
Like the Lechuza when it was chasing the freaking car.
Yeah.
No, I agree. But I did go 9 here. I went 9.
I went 9 also.
So what does that total score bring us, Dave?
It's not bad, bro. It's
not bad. It gotta be in the 80s, I think.
Not quite. It gets a 79.
79. That's pretty good, bro.
That's solid.
Why?
Why? Because the scores don't lie.
No, the score doesn't lie. That puts it right around it definitely puts it in the top 10.
No, does it?
Yeah.
Wow. See, I didn't think it would make
attack.
that top 10. I knew maybe possibly top 32. It's tournament worthy, I thought, but I didn't think top 10. That's even better than I thought.
Yeah. It puts it in 6th right now.
Wow. I'm confused.
I'm sorry you're confused.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. It's 79. So I'm gonna go back to that question that we were talking about earlier. And since you posed the question first, I guess I will answer first.
Yeah.
Whether or not I believe this is a true real life cryptid or myth.
Or is it something else?
Well, I put that something else with that true life cryptid thing. Because I think cryptids can very much well be a demonic being.
Okay, well, let me go to another step then. Is it like a spirit?
I don't think it's like a spirit. I think this is very much a physical thing. I think I would put this in a cryptid category. And not just myth. I think that it
Lower
definitely
your
brings,
voice.
it definitely brings a demonic presence to it.
Whoa.
Why am I here?
What?
Something just talked to me.
Really? What did it say, dude?
It said something went wrong.
Mine didn't say that.
No, and it
Yours-
wasn't from the ghost tube. It came into my headset, but it wasn't from the ghost tube. It wasn't from the roadcast. It didn't come. It was like something went wrong, is what it said.
Wow. Wow. Damn, why didn't we catch that?
I don't know, man.
That's
But
interesting.
do you
I
remember when we were on the Instagram live stream? Do you remember that voice that showed up?
yeah.
It sounded like that.
Oh. Remember what fucking did you check to see if any of your DVDs fell? Remember it sounded like something was shuffling through your fucking DVDs?
Yeah. No, nothing was moved. My DVDs weren't touched.
It so sounded like someone went through your DVDs.
Yep.
Closet.
I guess in my closet.
Maybe in your closet.
I don't have any DVDs in my closet. Well, no, I do. But that's
do
my
Do I
porn.
think this is a cryptid? Yes. I don't think this one is myth. Do I think it has demonic aspects to it? I would say yes. I think there is some sort of demonic going on with the goat man.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Dave?
I absolutely believe this is demonic. And I believe that it can manifest itself as flesh and blood.
So you believe definitely this is a cryptid, not a myth.
Yeah, this is a cryptid. This is not a myth. There's too many sightings of this, and the fact that you can't catch video of it, that really bugs me. That's like, okay, it has the ability to keep itself from being filmed.
It feels like that, right?
Yeah.
Like the lack of evidence might be evidence.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. And unfortunately, that forces us to give it a lower evidence or
games.
Game. Yeah, it's playing games with it.
Interesting. I like it.
But yeah.
79, I gotta love it.
I do. That's a good cryptid, bro. That was fun.
Scored way higher than I thought it was gonna.
Yeah, it scored higher than I had. I had it at a 71.
It's kind of funny. So I had 5, 6, 6, 8, 9, 8, 8, 9, 8, 9. I don't have a calculator.
I have no idea.
5,
okay,
11.
Give me your numbers again.
5, 6, 6, 8, 9, 8, 8, 9, 8, 9.
$76?
I think so, right? 11, 17.
I kind of lost it there at the end, but
1,
17, 25, 34, 42, 50, 59, 66, 75.
75. I was
I originally had a 75. Yeah.
Okay. You had a 75. I had a 71.
Yeah.
So we turned around and gave it a 79 after we talked about it.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just discussion, that's why we do this.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the Goat Man for this episode. Like I said, we revamped the show. We are not continuing on with 2 more. We were focusing on one location or one cryptid each episode. But next week, we are coming back and we're going to be going to Iowa. We're going to be talking about the Independent State
Mental Health Institute.
God, I gotta get better at handwriting.
Independent State Mental Health Institute. Yeah. So one of 2 locations that we picked in Iowa. The second one
Please
will be
listen.
in Scare Network. But I'm really looking forward to this site, bro. It's got some interesting stuff to it, and it keeps getting stronger as I do the research. So
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to doing the history on it.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because this is gonna be the start of the new set of locations for next year's tournament. So it's this is gonna end up being number one. It's gonna set the bar for everybody. So I'm interested to see where it lands.
Yeah.
Let's just see where it lands. And next week will be on Saturday,
I want one.
5 my time, 4 your time. Is that what we decided?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So 4 Pacific, 5 Mountain, 7 Eastern, all that good stuff.
With episode 23 of our live stream. And yeah, so we're cutting this down. We're just over an hour, and I think we're in good shape time wise.
Come closer.
I think we're good on time.
But yeah, no, it worked out perfect, right at that hour mark. So I enjoyed it. I like the beginning. I love the little history video. I love that we're able to go through the discussion and talk about everything. Yeah, the only thing we did not do tonight is say thank you to the people that we need to thank. And so
Yeah.
I'll finish the show by saying thank you.
I kind of hinted to that at the beginning,
Yeah.
but you didn't pick up what I dropped.
No, I figured we'd just keep going. We'll hit it at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So we do want to thank everybody out there that listens on your favorite places. Spotify for Podcasters does that all for us. Of course, they put us out there on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Apple Podcasts. Of course, we're also on iHeartRadio and Amazon Music.
You need water.
And without them, you wouldn't be able to hear our voices in all your favorite platforms. It's a great place to start your podcast. They help you get on there with no bias on putting on you other places, but it's also a great way to continue growing your podcast, and they'll help you sponsor everything. And they're amazing. And of course, we want to thank you to StreamYard. StreamYard is what allows us to be live in our 3 locations: the Facebook Spiritual Spirits page, the YouTube Spirits with John and Dave, and of course Twitter Spiritual Spurt. So thank you for StreamYard for doing that for us. And of course, we want to thank Scare Network, which is gonna be launching here within 2 weeks. I'm
so pumped for that. Yeah,
waiting for that. So one thanks Scare Network for letting us be part of their family. We do exclusives
Why are you here?
with them. So when we are done, excuse me, the beer's coming back. When we do our lives here, we actually gonna be going directly over and doing the video for Scare Network, so you can catch exclusives on Scare Network. Now, before they changed their formatting, there was a price point of of course you can go on there for free and watch a little bit, but they have a subscription service where you can watch everything on there. It was only $4 a month, which turned out to be like $60 a year, or $5 a month turned out to be $60 a year. Yeah, $4.99. $5 a month, $60 a year. Or you could buy the annual, which actually saved you $20 for 40. So basically $40 a year. So an annual savings of $20 for the year, which is phenomenal. Not sure what's happening with the new format, if that's still the same price points, but go check out Scare Network. The launch is coming up soon for the new platform. Check out our lovely faces, of course, because we know you love us. And of course, you can check out independent movies, 80s classic films. I don't know if I'm even saying this right. I don't know if they're going to have all that on the new format. So I'm hoping they continue with all the classic horror movies and everything like that. But the originals are freaking amazing. Billy Lewis does amazing work with the originals. And they're doing some awesome work right now with Sean Austin and Shane Pittman and Eric O'Connor. I mean, I'm so looking forward to that series coming out. Go check out Scare Network, folks. You'll love it. So that is everybody we need to thank. And I think it's time to hit the credits so we can move on to go to that Scare Network show. Dave, what do you think?
Yep. So, I think that's a good idea. Let's mosey on down the road. You guys, thank you so much for watching us on live or on the replay. If you go and check us out, please do us a favor, like, subscribe, turn your notifications on for YouTube. But we are also on Facebook and Twitter. So check us out on those platforms as well. And we're on Instagram.
Yeah.
So we do our live pregame show. We might do a postgame tonight.
Yeah.
Just, check things out because we're ending early. So I think I know I want to still drink. So he wants to still drink. He's got a vat of beer next to him. So I think we're good to go. But on that note, we're going to go. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in next week, Saturday night, as we talk about Independence State Mental Health Institute in Iowa. That's going to be a great show. Until then, I'm Dave. That's John. And we're out of here.